morning, I had a very little experience with one of my grandchildren. And it was so tiny, but I thought, I need to talk about it. Because it can lead to a lot of things. The little things confound the mighty, as the good book says. It's the little things that confound the mighty. My life is made up of tiny little things, and not big things. But it's the little things that keep adding, if it's good, into a blossoming into a beautiful being. And if you fail on those things, then it goes the opposite way. So little things count. Little things are easy to see. The big things coming are not easy to see, but you can smell it and fear it. But if you look at the little things and they keep growing to be bigger things, but still you're only seeing little things. You see, you're always seeing the moment and catching it wherever it is, without any effort whatsoever. As if it was no big deal, how else would you do it? But behind all those little things is all the little things that have become big things, but you don't know that you're a big thing. You have the big things, the important things inside you. So the little thing yesterday was one of my grandsons is 20 years old. And I'm the go-to guy. And he loves me and I love him, as most of my grandchildren do. And he's going out with a young lady. And I'll tell you the real story, because you don't know who it is anyway. So his girlfriend, recent, is now living in California for a little bit. He's been going with her, and it's a new experience for him. And so she went to Disneyland all by herself at night, which disturbed him. So he spoke to her. He said, "You must come home right away. You have no business, an 18-year or 20-year-old girl, to go to Disneyland at night. You need to come home. See, go home." And she gave in. She says, "Okay." And that's part of the story I want to share with you. I said, "You have no business talking to her that way, because she is suggestible. And she has a need for love from a man, because she has a problem at home. But she's a nice girl. But when you use that language, when you use that strong words, it has a hypnotic effect on her. And then she'll obey you, because she needs your love. She needs something from you, but that isn't it." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You should have said it this way, with a different tone. You really need to come home. May I suggest you come home? Go home to your..." She's in California and he's here now. I wouldn't go to Disneyland because you're 18. Let's say she's 18, because I don't know how old she is exactly. She's a nice girl, bad family, not good family, confused. But if you talk in that tone, it is hypnotic. He says, "That's hypnosis?" I said, "Yes, that's hypnotic." In other words, she having a need for love, has seen a nice young man. He is a very nice young man. And so it would have the effect of trauma. Trauma is simply a spoken word spoken improperly to seduce a obedience. And that's why you must talk to your children in a certain voice, always. And depending upon, I'm sure Ronald Reagan never spoke harsh, but when he did, he was strong in his belief and could not be moved. We'll come to that in just a little bit, because there's little bits and pieces here, from the way you speak to a little child, the way you speak to a friend, the way you speak to your wife, the way you speak then to your children. These little things make the difference between life and death and suffering. The average person does not know how to speak. The only way you have of communication is with your energy field, meaning your body language. Yes, body language and spoken word. But you've got to be very careful of the spoken word. You see, I'm not talking to you that you have to learn this and you have to do the thing in the Bible. I don't want to be that person that, oh, isn't he a wonderful speaker? And you try to please him. And then if you please him, the preacher is gratified. There now, you're nice kids. Talks to you like your children. Well, actually, I talk to children as if I was a grown-up, as if they were grown up. See? So I said to my grandson, I said, that's not right, don't you see? He says, that's hypnosis. Yes, speak with authority to a person with a strong voice, like, come home. You have no business being out there, you know, as a young lady of 18. But it's true, but he used the strong voice, the command voice. I said, she is suggestible. My wife is suggestible. I mesmerized her on my first date. But I've told you that before. But then I knew when I was only 24, that there's a good kid in there, good somebody. I didn't know it verbally. I wouldn't be able to verbalize it then. I can verbalize it in my 88th year, because here it comes again. See? Coming around. And I've learned a lot. I married a lady who was mesmerized, but she didn't know it. And anybody else could get in too. So you've got to be very careful if you marry that one, that other people can have access to it too. Which happened in our lives. She got caught up with the gardener, who was a liar and a cheat, a predator, but took his time because he recognized her little rebellion, love-hate, the rebellious side. You know what her love-hate is. It looks like love, but the hate that you don't see. See? And the hate is the guilt that makes you want to love again, to be loved. And it doesn't happen, there's the hate. See? And it grows into something. And then she tendency to look outside, without knowing it, it's the gardener. But he's predator. And she got predatized. And I had it, but I'm stronger than all of them put together. And so let me just I'm going to come back to my subject. He's sitting in a wheelchair right now, and his cohort's going blind. I said, watch it. Watch it, because here I'm talking about forces that operate through me as Jesus. Not that I'm Jesus, but he says the things I can do, you can also do. Did he not say that? He says, why call me good? There's nobody good. It's not me that doth these things, but the Father within me, he doth it. So he says, become perfect as your Father in heaven. And you can do the same thing. Did he not say that?
Yeah.
So I'm not boasting. But the thing is, there's a tone, there are tones which I don't have to memorize, because the tones, everything is given to me. Every single thought, every single word. See, Roy Masters is sitting here with a very bad memory. Worse than my wife's got better memory than me. And she's got a problem with memory. See? But when I sit in front of you, it comes out. Because my memory about things, if I'm just going to spread the thoughts out a little bit more, are disappearing. I don't care about your bloody birthday. Okay? I don't care about this and that. See? I don't have to remember all the things and in the name of things and have a vocabulary of 50,000 words. I don't need that. All that I don't need is going away. I have a bad memory for proper names. I have a bad memory for science things. I've written science, but I can't always say it because I've done it. It's over. It's written out. But if I start to speak on the subject matter to scientists, it will flow. It will flow, but not from my memory so much. It's because it will cause those thoughts to appear, those ideas and concepts to appear automatically. So I can speak in front of you without anything to read from. I don't like that. But as I get older, my memories are not as good. In the ordinary sense, I look like a nincompoop because I can't find the words I need. But I don't need them. It could be disturbing, but it isn't disturbing to me. All I care about is how useful I am to my Heavenly Father. See that? That's all. So I don't want to be bothered by the fact that I can't remember this and that, which is something simple. Sometimes it takes me 3 or 4 days to remember something. Then I don't even need it. When it comes to me, I don't need the word. This is already past. So there's no frustration. I can know that if you get older, you can't remember the words. You get frustrated with the fact you can't remember them, and then you make yourself worse. I'm perfectly all right with losing my memory. You see, I'm only losing what I don't really need. And so it purifies what I do need. See, because the words are coming. So let me go back to my stories again. Because, if you pardon me, I just want to make sure I stay on the track. So I'm talking to my grandson. And he said, well, I did it the way you said to do it to her, but my mother said, you need to be more strong. I said, no, your mother's wrong. I talked to her about that, and she wouldn't admit it. So he said, yes. I saw the confusion in him. He had the intuitiveness to talk to her. May I suggest that you come home? Because a young lady like yourself is a target. That's the way to speak. Because he's just a boyfriend right now. That's the role of a friend. May I suggest, you don't talk to a friend with that kind of strength. Correct? Man or woman. Now you look how sensitive that could be, but how natural it must be. And it was natural, but his mother said, no, you need to speak to her more strongly. So he did, and got confused. So there's conflict. So I spoke to him about the conflict. And he said, maybe I need to apologize. I said, that's good. That's a good idea. Apologize for your strength of authority. You're not her authority. I'm not your authority. You see, I don't talk to you as if you were little kids. I talk to you, but the little kids here understand me as well as you do, believe it or not. I bet you any one of those kids back there understand what I'm talking about. So, the way you speak, see, can have repercussions. I mean, endless repercussions. If I'd left him alone and not made the point and argued with his mother, see, because I said, you put conflict in your son. He knew better as a man, young man. See, it came to him naturally to speak that way. He did that. But then he had turned around and then did the way his mother said. And then caught conflict. Now that, it doesn't seem like a lot, does it? No, it's a game changer. I'm trying to make a point that's extremely valuable. See, because most people wouldn't see that. Most parents would leave behind conflict, thinking they did the right thing. And they're in trouble. And then put their own children in trouble. And all with a good intent. Who understands what I'm saying here? You do. Are you guilty of it? Yes. Is anybody has anything to say about that that would encourage me to lengthen it into other things?
I think it all depends on the situation, and that I think
But it always
an
does.
emergency is a different situation.
What was that?
An emergency.
Emergency.
If I say stop because there's a danger right there, right then.
I'll give you a story about
Yeah,
that.
all
You
right.
want a story? So my first boat was a Chinese junk. It's a river boat, and you couldn't sink it because it had a water ballast, right? So we came into the breakwater. There's a big sort of a bunch of stones out there, and you can come into and a huge wave comes up behind me. And I started yelling at everybody to do this much. Do this, do that. And my wife would say, but you're shouting. You see? She misunderstood.
He was Captain Ahab, I was there.
You remember that, Alan? Do you remember it?
Yeah, I still have trauma. They sucked my thumb for the last 20 years.
Yeah. So I had to yell orders. You see, I forget what they were now, but we came in okay.
But did you have to say, you idiot?
You got to say all kinds of things.
No, you didn't.
I know. But then she says, you're shouting. Why are you shouting like that? See, misunderstanding it. And you can also misunderstand a gentle voice. You can misunderstand a strong voice when it's necessary. Some people, when I'm talking with authority on the radio, firm. I'm speaking to you firm. I'm not talking down to you if you are intuitive. I'm talking with authority, but not with my authority. Do you understand the difference there? It's because whatever authority Jesus has, I should have. It should be the same. Not that I had such a nice voice as he did, but whatever voice I have should be coming from, energized from within. Everything you say has to come from within. Not one single word must you utter unless it's from within. But then you are on a vacation and you're playing around and joking. Okay, you're on leave. You see, you're on a holiday from God. Do what you like now. Go fishing. See, you don't have to talk to the fish. And you can actually make jokes, which is, it's natural. You can make those jokes, you can have a personality. So we can exclude certain things. And we have to know what to exclude. Excuse me. Who's following me? But now do you understand that your tone of your voice and what you say has to be authoritative, but not the strength, or I don't know if I can find the words for it, but it's not really strength.
The choice of words.
It's not just the choice of words because I don't choose the words.
It's the will behind it.
It's the will behind it. Yeah, it's the will behind it, and it's sensed by the will in other people.
That's you done.
And whether you are a submissive will or you're a progressive will, but you do the willing, this that comes through me is stronger than both of them. See? And so the tendency for people to hear the spoken word, see, and to obey it submissively is not healthy. You're just breaking into what the damage that a person has been done to that person. The damage of a parent has created a hypnotic state or trauma, which may not show, but I can tell it just by looking at a person's face, you see, and just watching their actions and their behavior. And I can smell it, if excuse the expression. You can see it, and so can a predator, see. But my grandson is decent. He did what he's supposed to do. His mother, though, said, "You need to be stronger and tell her come home."
Roy, the will behind it makes to make the other person submissive.
Yes, you see, but what I'm saying is, that goes without saying. So that didn't come from a good place. You're just saying what I said, exactly. But if you said something deeper, I'd listen. If you had something to add to that. See, he's just said it exactly and repeated it as if it was new. It wasn't new. With all due respect, he's my friend. Who's following me now? Even the little kids are following me. See, they do. I understand that. You'd be surprised how little kids understand it. Better than grown-ups. Because they're still close to Creator. And so you've got to be careful how you speak to little kids. You don't want to talk to them with the word of authority. Go to bed. Time to go to bed now. Well, that doesn't sound so bad, but it's still authority. Oh, but Dad, can I stay up another 5 minutes? Okay. See? That's no good either. Okay, son, I don't mind. Just make it 5 minutes. Got a clock? You have a watch? Yes, Dad. And then you have a nice relationship. It's time to go. Oh, can't I do just one more time? Okay, up you go. And I chase them upstairs and they all laugh while I'm chasing them. That's fun. See that? Now, you can't teach yourself this. You don't know that when you speak and when you listen to someone else talk to you, you are affected or infected by it. Or somebody's so weak you don't do it, and then finding yourself talking down to them and not even noticing it. See? Because there's a coward in us. There's a bully and a coward in us I talk about all the time. We are only two kinds of... You my friends, I don't mean to be, imposing myself. I just want you to consider, I want you to consider that you have not lived your own life. That nobody lives, nobody. Do you think Obama's living his own life? No, he's living the communist life through him. He was chosen for that. He had the personality that lent itself to all of that. So he was chosen a long time ago. And we, as a population, have slowly lost who we are because the way our parents talk to us. See, we have a hard-fought war only a couple of hundred and a few odd years ago. We began to be a free nation. And becoming a free nation was a difficult thing, see, by itself. And slowly but surely the Constitution got put into place, and we only through the efforts from a few people. And a small number of people who fought for our freedom, like George Washington, with only 3,000 men to begin with, and they'd walk in the snow without any shoes, and died, and froze, etc., etc. So there's only a small percentage of us, but I think we need to have a big percentage of us because the future is about to overtake us. We can't be like we are and think that we're free. You're free from right to do wrong and free from wrong to do right. But they're both different kinds of freedom. So you have to deal with the people who are free from right to do wrong and learn to deal with the wrong people. And you need to, at the same time, you need to learn to talk to your own children. Because if you react to the wrong people, then you become wrong with your children. Or worse. So, in other words, let me coin a word, worser. There's no such thing in the English language, but we'll use it. Worser. Make it American. See. Who's following me again? So do you think that having heard what I just said could change the way you handle things? Yes. Would you please stand? Thank you.
I really enjoyed last week when you were talking about hypnotizing your friend when you were in the Army and how people have a little door and you go through the door.
Let me just make it plain, then you continue.
Okay.
So I'm saying that there's nobody who is not in a hypnotic state, except a few. See? And they may not be the ones, how can I say this? They may be in a hypnotic state, and having insecurity like everybody else, but they may compensate because everybody has a gift. So you can have a gift and make the iPhone, see? But still, it could be a compensation for insecurity. So therefore, you progress in your ability to invent and do good things on this earth, but you die early. Because you're not giving credit to God, the glory of making the iPhone, whoever that is, I don't remember his name.
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs, thank you. But I see how I remember, I have to ask you. But all I care is not the name, it's the principle. He died. If I had known him and he was my friend, he would not be dead. But he pushed hard. He felt insecure. He had the skills. I have the skills, but I just told you, it's not me. I write physics, it's not me. I don't know how I got all that. It just came out. I just see it, I just see it, I just see it, I just see it, I just see it. I see how stupid it is. You stand up there, you just hold it, I'll be right back with you. I know I'm just on a little bit, yeah. I forgot what you said, but I'll be right back. But I'm on that journey, you see, I mean. It's the little things, right? It's the little things. I see it, but little things. Oh, I could write that down. And then as I'm writing it, more stuff comes out. But I don't take credit for it. I want to see it work. I want to see have value. I want to be able to help the soldiers with post-traumatic stress disorder, that all the things are against me. I'm not frustrated. It will be what it will be. See, there it is again. Little thing. I've got magic. I have two magical things. I wanted to be a scientist. I wanted to be a doctor. My father died and it made it impossible. But look at me. I don't have degrees, but I know more than doctors, even though I need doctors myself sometimes. But then I see how little they understand. How they screw me up. And I have to find my way back. Wow, that's another thing. Little things. I've survived. You wouldn't have survived what I've survived. You'd have been dead a long time ago.
Well, I came through a lot.
Yeah.
I did.
Now we can talk.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Catch me up where I lost you.
Okay, I was saying how I enjoyed your conversation about how people have little doors and that a person as a hypnotist can use that door to go in and access their mind.
Yes.
And I've been noticing this week, because I have trouble speaking up to people.
Yes.
And saying no to them or telling them how the cow ate the cabbage.
Yes.
And I've been seeing that before I'm in a position where I can't say no, I go around opening up this little door because I want everybody to be friends with me.
Yes.
Because I'm kind of a people pleaser and feel lonely.
But it's not good.
I know, but it was nice to see that little door and that I'm the one opening up that little door, that people come through and then I can't say no to them.
That's right.
So once you see your little doors, you can start being aware of them
Once
and not
I make
opening
you
them.
aware of these little things, which can make you genius, and not think of yourself as genius, as just, well, how else would you do it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why can't you see there's no such thing as a Big Bang, idiots? Why is that? Well, I can see I never went to school. But a Big Bang by itself is a nuclear explosion. And so an explosion, a nuclear bomb exploding, has no structure. And the universe is structured. What's the matter with you stupid psychiatrists, scientists, right? What's the matter with you? Why can't you see it? Oh, well then it was a little tiny, small, hot, called a singularity. Whoop, it's a name. But it's infinitely hot, infinitely hot. What put it there? Never mind that, because we can't. There's got to be something to put it. Well, I don't want to argue with you because you're too stupid. I'm not going to say it. I'm just saying that right now, openly. I don't think that to myself. But it's got to have that a name. A little tiny thing, the pinpoint, as small as a dot on the end of the sentence. Are you crazy? Haven't you forgotten? Well, not evolution. There's another word that just disappears for me. It'll come back to me in a little bit. It's an Einstein relativity. It's relative. Relative. In other words, how far away are you looking at it? Are you looking at it 1 trillion miles away? Or are you looking for it 10 feet from it? It's huge. It's got to be something huge. A universe can't come from a whole universe can't come that way. See, now, I'm a little kid. I see it. Where do I go? They'll think I'm crazy. No, they're crazy. Now, they're very clever with making things. They have talent. But not how to see things, how they're made. Because you need an intuitive thing that comes from God, and education destroys it. The best thing that ever happened to me is I got no education. Okay.
You know, Roy, the reason I think the scientists are so messed up, they're trying to explain creation without God.
That's correctly right. And that's a very dangerous thing.
Yeah.
That's a wicked thing. That is absolutely wicked. Forgive me, if you give me the best scientist who knows how to make a atomic bomb, which I don't know how to do, because that's another set of skills. I don't care about that. I want to know how it's done. I want to know why behind everything. And that's God, right? Here, I talk to you from that realm. And here, I've never been to school of psychology. I'm so glad, because I'd be stupid, and I wouldn't know I was stupid. They'd be in it. Every psychiatrist and psychologist exists in a stupor called education. And education, they don't even understand the meaning of the words, what it means to bring forth from within. They bring forth nothing. They do not go to a psychiatrist. He'll only give you a pill.
Psychologist. I went to a psychologist.
Yes?
And she was very spiritual. I learned.
Oh, if she's a spiritual
yeah,
one, got it.
I learned a lot.
There
from her.
are spiritual ones, don't get me wrong. You find those. But they're few and far between. They consist of the majority. And the doctors don't know what they're doing. So they can mess you up. I got messed up the very first time. I've been suffering from it ever since. Okay.
Talk to this part of the audience.
Yes, I was just talking to this lady right on the edge of that. Are you okay with that? Yes. Anybody else would like to just share with me?
Yes. I like to, I know you keep saying psychologists are not good and they don't help.
There's always
I've
a
been
person.
helped.
There's always a person like myself.
And I'm reluctant to
them.
talk about that
Yes.
because you don't believe in them.
No, I don't believe in the study of psychiatry or psychology. You don't want to learn it word for word and practice it word for word as an authority, because nobody gets better, and all you get is pills and drugs.
I didn't get pills.
No, I didn't say you. You are fighting me out of no reason at all. I just agreed. Now I'm using a stronger voice. No, you're not listening. I agree with you. And I agreed with you right away. And you wouldn't stop. You didn't see, I saw. That's your fault. I don't mean to be rude, but you need to have a little strong voice there. See? Yes.
Yes, listening to you, you spoke of the little thing, and one word in all of what you said hit me, gave me an insight.
Yes.
When you said the word coward,
Yes.
and all of a sudden something came together for me completely. I remember from the original meditation of the story about the coward who became a brave man.
Yes.
And I had an experience. I went through that, and that happened for me. And where it relates to the other about speaking, before that, when I spoke to people, nobody ever listened. Nobody ever paid much attention. Well, I was a coward. Okay.
Yes.
And from then on, I've been able to speak forthrightly,
I like that. I
and
like
people
that.
listen, and people understand, and
Yeah.
I get respect.
Or you get rejected, but that's
Yes.
okay.
But
least
straightforwardly.
something's happening.
Yes.
You're making
Thank
something
you.
happen.
Thank you, just for saying that word and all of you said what you said.
Now you see this. I didn't know he was sitting there. Yeah, I did know he was sitting there, but I didn't know what he needed to know, right? So I'm just conversing on a subject. And every subject I pick, you can actually see your part. And it's up to you to see it, not for me to force it on you. Just to play with the idea with the love of playing with it. And saying it so many different ways. And getting
Exactly.
other people to be involved. And every now and then a person say, "You've absolutely freed me." I didn't free you. It was the ideas that you never would have thought here. And that's what I deal. I deal in the metaphysical world where you don't normally think, because you tend to think in verses and chapters. And the way you came into the world came into you. And therefore you're one of them. And you're in conflict because you're one of them. Because you're not one of them. You understand that?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, one of the, when you talk about the little thing, it made me think of a phrase, it's an old one. They used to say, you can't eat just one salted peanut.
I can.
Just one,
Yeah, I can.
okay?
I,
Because what happens if you
I-
eat,
I- every
if
now
you,
and then-
if
every
you
now and-
can't eat one salted peanut, eventually you turn into an elephant.
yeah, I know that, but you see, you're talking to me.
No,
I can actually go into see my wife eat ice cream. I take a little teaspoon, have a little teaspoon. That's enough for me.
perhaps I should have said,
That's discipline.
one cannot eat one salted peanut.
One can, yes, and you should be able to do the same thing.
Yes,
And if you can do that, just
now
try.
I can.
That's great. Eat as many one peanuts as you want.
But one at a time.
That's right.
Thank you.
I don't see anything wrong with peanuts, but sugar, sugary stuff, carbohydrates. When you even as a healthy person, you got to keep away from too much of that good stuff.
Yeah, I wanted to go back to when people talk to you and they're implying something, they're insinuating with their tone, but they don't actually say it. And what I find myself doing, I'm thinking of someone in particular, I'll confront them, and then they'll say, I never said that, and I know very well they
Yeah,
did.
damn well they said it.
So then we
No.
get the doubt, and then,
But then you've learned something about the person.
oh yeah.
Yeah, you've learned, and so you don't really have to say anything. Oh, I did you? Okay. You don't want to fight over it. That's going to get you to fight and argue, and you just leave them with it.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah, thank
And
you.
you leave them looking at,
All right.
like Netanyahu. He talked to the UN. Yes. And he looked at everybody for 45 seconds. You rotten bastards. See? You leave Israel alone. You see? And let her become destroyed. You wicked bunch of bastards. That's what he was saying with his eyes. And then instead of doing any good, he made matters worse. Nobody wants to talk to him anymore. ISIS can do what they want. And your president is okay with it. See? The shootings in Roseburg here, it was a gun-free zone. Let me just discuss this a little bit. So everybody's talking about it and how terrible it is for these 10 children, what it is to be murdered. It is. It never needed to happen because it was run by liberals. Now, liberals are nice people, but they're appeasers. They think that going along to get along is love. But they think of them as lovers. See, they love each other, and they love their children, and they have their kids are not stupid. They can see their father is not a man, and so therefore, I'll give you a little story. So I have a friend who's a liberal. He's still my friend. And so one day, 35 years ago, he's a famous person in the movie industry, very famous. So he called me around and invited me to dinner. But he has a son that has epilepsy. So he's 15 years old, and he can't ride a bicycle, can't drive a car, and he's frustrated, etc., etc. So here's just this little story. And I'm going to show you what knowledge can do. So I went and had dinner with him, and the subject was brought up. He says, can you help me? So I sat in the room with the boy for a few minutes. I said to him, do you resent your father? He says, yes. I listen to my mother, and because he's not there, he's busy with his work. And I said, how's your mother? Oh, she's wonderful, thank you. She gives me what I need. I said, bingo. You've become codependent. See, in other words, you have a love-hate relationship with your mother because of your father. So go ahead.
Yeah, he feels what she feels. It's a transfer.
That's right.
And that's kind of like what
He has a terrible
my
conflict
experience that,
as
yeah.
a man.
Yeah.
See, a woman has not the right, except it's given to her if she's lost a husband.
Mhm.
And women can have the same effect as a man if they are noble women. There's very few noble women
Mhm.
who understand that. Who's the guy running for, the black gentleman running for?
Carson.
Carson.
Yeah.
He had a sensible mother.
Mhm.
And she imposed a certain discipline,
Rules, yeah.
rules, yes, discipline, and it worked for him.
Mhm.
But he still has a little tick,
Mhm.
see, because he's a good man, don't get me wrong, like a good person,
Yeah.
everything, even with the tick. The tick is this.
Mm.
See, your eyes, you can see it
Yeah.
in his eyes.
Yeah.
Yes, when he talks, that's it. That's a little tick.
Mhm.
But like that, tick, means he's learned to be a good person because of his mother, not because of his father.
Mhm.
See? Got it?
Yep.
And therefore, he's a compensated person who absolutely appears to be exactly as a human being should be.
Mhm.
And that is very, very interesting, but it's all through will.
Yeah, and there's a conflict in that too.
And there's a conflict there too, but you
Yeah.
will never know it.
Mhm.
I have a friend who used to come here, and he had a tick. But he was a beautiful, he still is. He's not any different today in his appearance, but in his demeanor. He is really what you're looking at. Where before, he was not really what you were looking for, and it had the same effect with all these skills and all his decorum and all of his speech and all of his writings. Nothing's changed. The intelligence and the gift is there, but the person wasn't there. His father was a nuclear specialist, see, and he was a violinist, and he sold his Stradivarius and traded it for a house and gave up that world. Okay, so, and he's been my friend ever since. But when he got married, his wife could see it, his children can see it, and that forced him to say, what's going on? Because he thought he was he.
He could see the effect that he was causing.
There you are.
He couldn't see it himself.
No, we're just spreading the idea
Yeah.
of who we are.
Yeah.
And he's my best friend today. He's not any different. He's a beautiful guy, even when he wasn't himself. So that, what's his name now?
David
The guy running for,
Ben Carson.
Yes.
Yeah.
he's that person. So you're not going to expect any harm. He's got the same judgments. He'll make a good president.
Mhm.
But he'll die early. See?
Hence the conflict. Yeah.
End the conflict. Or he may recover himself in some way. So I can't prognosticate the future, predict,
Yeah.
because that's not my thing. If he would come around, then I could speak to him as I see him, and he could talk and progress. But I'm only saying that to make a point, because I can see these things. I saw Obama for what he was, and I tried to scream, don't. Fundamental transformation means down, not up.
No, I agree.
And so what they did is draw out of the pit of iniquity a man who loved the worst in people. Goodbye, country. See?
Yes.
It's the little things I see. And I've always seen the little things and they grow to be the big things. And so, I don't know what gave me, I suppose I do know, but I thought, it came to me, I thought, this would be a nice way to begin a talk on this program. And it's helped you.
Yes.
And so you just came. Has it helped anybody else in this? How many people have been helped just by that idea? That's very good, most of you. Well, that is growth, recognition. I didn't teach you anything. I validated what you already knew. You always had it in there, otherwise you couldn't recognize it.
Yeah.
It's like a memory. So when you come into the world and you get screwed, pardon the expression, I'm not your typical preacher. So you get screwed by your parents, who were screwed by their parents, who were screwed by their parents, and great, all the way back to Paradise Lost. They didn't know it. So you can't hate your parents because they came into the world in a hypnotic state. They came into culture, and culture got into them, and anybody in that culture can mesmerize them and lead them astray and make them worse. And then they make each other worse by fighting. Because each one of them have a fault. One is weak, one is strong. So the strong one takes advantage of the weak. And the weak one, after a while, gets so fed of it, they get mad and angry and run away or have a big fight and he feels guilty, and now he's the weak one. And she's in charge of the family. Either one of them don't work. From the very beginning, no, they're both no good. They both can't help understanding what a child needs. They all think they need to teach it how to teach it anything. You don't have to teach a child anything. They will see things for themselves, and the first thing they see is your stupidity that you don't see, and the tone of your voice, which you have no business using. Oh, the tone of my, oh, how wonderful, look how beautiful he is. Oh, wonderful, you made that. Oh, did you make that little block castle for yourself? Oh, it's wonderful. All of a sudden, the kid doesn't want to learn. I got a granddaughter, who has a beautiful voice. All of a sudden, she started to sing, but secretly she'd been making, what do they call it when you write? Narratives or... Yeah, just whatever you call it, it's fine. The lyrics. The proper word is lyrics, isn't that right? So, but the minute you said, what a wonderful voice that is, she doesn't want to do it because she feels guilty. She feels uncomfortable. And so she should. It's natural for a young person to suddenly have a beautiful voice. It could make a fortune with that voice. But she doesn't want to. She doesn't know how to deal with praise. So don't praise your kid, because you'll kill him. Don't degrade your kid, you'll kid him. You've got to find something in the middle. You have to find something in you that knows how to speak to the moment. And you can't write it down and study it. It has to be God-given. Because you won't have a life. The whole purpose of life is God-givenness. And not the fact that you actually made the iPhone. See? Yeah. But he's missed something. I'm not saying he's going to go to hell. Don't get me wrong. Because he might. Because he's done the best he could without knowing it and not purposeful. Mm-hmm. Just like the thief on the cross. Both of them were thieves. But one said, I see it. Mm-hmm. See, I see it. He's innocent. We deserve what we got. That is recognition. He uses the proper words. Jesus heard it, said, "This day you will be with me in paradise." So you can actually be one of those people. So I'm not going to judge those people. I'm just talking to you. You want to have a full life. You don't want to. You want to be the best you can, because every day someone is hurt by it, or you are hurt by somebody. And this is the country. And if I had an opportunity to have more stations, our phones hardly ring. People do send checks, which keeps us afloat. But I've been doing that for 55 years. You think millions of people. I know millions of people. But we have 330 million people. So if I help 2 million people, it's as good as a toothache. Mm-hmm. See? I want my audience to understand. You need to support my program. Most of you listening are freeloaders. You start to get well, you appreciate what you got, but you don't give the foundation anything. And Jesus did the same thing. I know why that is. You want to know why? I've actually seen the reason for it. So in the Bible it says, when he healed people, he got 1 out of 10. What happened to the other 9? No, they're just doing fine. They probably did fine, but they missed something. And the reason why they missed it, if you have a bloated stomach and you're eating too much, I'm just going to use an example, and you're burping, the acid's in there. Okay, so you take an Alka-Seltzer, not meaning to advertise Alka-Seltzers, and all of a sudden you feel normal. But you don't think of the Alka-Seltzer as some kind of God or anything. You just took it and you felt better, and then you start eating again. See, in this case, right away you go, I feel better now, I can eat. So there could be that in relationship to Jesus. But there's also another aspect to it, and you lose them, right? Or you lose them for a little while and they'll realize that, this is not good. But Jesus is not there anymore, so you can't give him any money, right? He's moved on. So, but the better reason for that is that when I heal people. I don't heal it, but I am the instrument of healing. That's a gift that not many people have. Psychiatrists, I can help people where the doctors can't help. You know that. So, and it's also valuable to me. I haven't survived this long. And so what really happens is that the proclivity of wellness suddenly is so natural. It feels like you had it all your life. And then you forget who gave it to you, because it doesn't seem like anybody gave you anything. See? It may occur to you sometime years later, and then maybe years later they send me a check. You know what I mean? The conscience bothers them a little bit. But I don't get 1 out of 10. If I got 1 out of 10, I'd be in good shape. But he had the same problem. Same thing. I feel normal. Right? What? It's natural to be normal. What do I have to give him for anything for?
They've got short memories.
Yeah, that's right.
And they do.
You have to take pills, you need a prescription, then you need a doctor. And you have to keep going, but you don't thank him that much, really. No. Because you're not getting better. It's true. You're just addicted to him. So you have a love-hate relationship with your doctor. You can't say no.
Only think about the egg while you're hurting. Once you're not hurting anymore, you got other things to think
That's why you're not hurting anymore. Why do I need to give you anything?
I
That's the old logic jumping in.
I occasionally have been privileged to have people heal through me as well.
That's nice.
And I guess I'm just an amateur compared to you, I'm sure. And I never look for anything back.
When you can learn to eat just one peanut and you get in shape, you'll see things more
That's right.
clearly. You'll be more understood.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
You've got to be more of a
Still a
thing.
work in progress.
I
I've
got
only
it.
lost
I got it. You don't
33
mind me
pounds
saying
this
so.
year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I've lost 60 pounds. But in the beginning, many years ago, all I could eat was porridge, and it was killing me. See that? So it took a while. I don't know how I have a staying power, but I think I do, in a matter of speaking, because I'm following my own advice. I'm seeing things more clearly as I speak to you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because you're helping me by speaking and expressing things about talking about things that I haven't heard.
Good.
It's good.
I see how,
I just snitch all these little pieces and remember them. Go
I
ahead.
see how one little doubt, if you believe one little doubt,
You're finished.
because then another doubt.
Yeah,
then
my
another doubt.
granddaughter calls me last night at 11 o'clock. And there it is again, doubt.
Right.
And I said, doubt? Do you remember the little girl, I think she's here, who said, Grandpa, is it okay to say no to my grandma if she wants to give me a gift? The grandmother's a really wicked person. And she's in a sense so wicked that the daughter was at 4 years old, she was molested by a stepfather, and mother never stood in the way. Really, really wicked. So there's the real dark side. She senses it. She calls me Grandpa, okay? And she says, is it okay to say no to my grandma? She's already sensing the pull. I'm coming to you right in a minute. And the pull, I said, is the dark side. So when you feel the pull, don't go with it. Say no thank you, because you do have the candy, or you have the gifts that obligate. See? Free? No, it's not free. Freedom is, you will become a slave. That moment in a child's life. So in that child's life, I intercede. She calls me. Can you stand up to your grandma and say no, and see all those toys go into the garbage can, and her get angry and run away here from you? Can you not be angry at that? She says, yes, Grandpa. And she did it. Next day, the hullabaloo is in my daughter's business, where she has 50, 60 people working for her. And in front of all those people, she did it. And the grandmother threw those toys into the garbage in a fit of anger and ran like hell. And she stayed there as calm as a cucumber. See? And so where was I going with that? What was the question you were saying?
Well, it was, I noticed my doubt, my little doubt
doubt
self,
is
it'll
the
get
pull.
me, it'll try to get me on one thing. If I believe that one thing, it'll go to something else.
Exactly.
It'll go to something else.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, you're just in a,
Yeah, but you're already entangled with it. The little girl had not been. She is pure
right.
and kept the purity. And you're not pure because you keep giving into it. So now you need to understand what the word is. Doubt is upside down faith.
Right.
You're listening to the wrong guy.
Right.
But once you start to listen, you can't stop. And once I start to listen to my God, I can't stop, because He's taken away all the things that would cause me to stop Him. Means I have no will. I have His will. And so therefore I've got what I wanted. Why should I fight? It's a pleasure to have faith. And I don't feel that I have faith. There's no feeling to it. There's zero feeling. But there's a feeling when you're in it, when you're first being seduced, like the little girl was able to see that there's a pull, and that pull was from the dark side external to it. And the minute you yield to it, saying thank you, or you can't say no, or your mother says, well, it's your grandmother, why don't she's, you don't want to hurt her feelings. See, there's forces out there that, again, are speeches and information that are dangerous. See, and the mother does not know that they're dangerous. She thinks she's being good.
It takes you away from yourself.
But you understand the delicacy of what you say. And then there are people who lie to you all the time. I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that. But you did. I didn't mean that. Yes, you did. But you don't fight it. You don't want to be drawn, because the purpose of that is to draw you into a whirlpool. And let them, and says, okay, have it your way. It's not a big deal to me if you want to be a liar. You can add a little few words to it if you want to. If you get the reaction, they react to you, but you're not doing it purposely. You're just saying what is true.
They've given away their hand.
Yeah. Now you understand why I'm dangerous to bad people and beneficial to good people. See that? But it's only those little things, one at a time, building, 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 so you can see more and more and more and make the future different.
I agree.
Any more questions? Yes, ma'am. Would you please stand up?
I find myself being
Are you going to be able to eat one peanut from now onwards?
potato chips as well.
You do need that
I know.
skill.
No, I understand that. I find myself in my mind being caught in this thought that if I don't accomplish something that God would like to have accomplished, that I don't have any value.
Well, there's a certain amount of truth to that.
But then I take it on egotistically.
Yeah, but there's some truth to it. But you get upset with it.
That's true.
See? And upset, what does upset do for you? I don't ever see anything come good from being upset, not even to yourself. I mean, you get upset with yourself. What good does it do? You have to think of your body as you might think of your children. Children want love. So they cry, and they're suffering, and they want their own way, sometimes. There's a whole range of problems. So a story I give to the same young man when he was 3 years old with his mother. She came to me and said, he's crying, and he just wants what he wants, and he's losing his temper. He's calling me all kinds of names. And he's 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, I forget. I said, you sit quietly in a chair and let him vent. Just let him vent. It may take you 5 or 6 hours to sit there. Just sit there and just wait. And scream and let him vent on you. It's called love. I let people vent on me and call me all kinds of names. I just vent, but usually the energy I give out, the energy that I don't know I have, it stops them in short order. But my daughter is not that way yet. But so therefore it takes a lot longer. See, because she's just beginning to learn. And she still hasn't finished learning. I haven't either, for that matter. But after 6 hours, 5 or 6 hours, raving and ranting and wanting stuff, which was out of order, really wrong, willful. And not will against will, sitting quietly. All of a sudden he stops. He runs out of energy. Now he runs out of bad energy, the good energy comes in. He sees it, and he puts his arm around his mother and says, I don't know what came into me. I'm sorry, Mom. See that? Now, that's not the end of the story with them. There's still little problems here, there, then. I'm the go-to guy. And last night was a call from concerning that. See? Little thing about, that's the same boy that grew up to be 20. And he got the wrong advice from his mother. But he did it right the first time, and then he did it wrong the second time because she thought he needs to be strong and make her come home. He only needs to suggest it. See? Are you following me?
Yeah.
Am I answering you? Because sometimes I tend to run away from what you say. I hope it's in keeping with that.
Well, I think you were saying that we don't use the energy of a will to accomplish things that we're
Anything.
supposed to. Yeah.
And you have to, so could you just say what you said again? Stand up and just say it. What is the exact words you said?
We shouldn't be using our energy of will to accomplish things.
Exactly, you will die from it.
Okay.
You become guilty. You will try to fix your guilt
And then eat more potato chips.
and eat more potato chips, yeah. Or peanuts. And not able to eat one.
Yeah.
When you can eat just one, that's things you like, you're on your way. Okay.
Amen.
Amen to you too. Yes, sir? Please stand.
Okay.
We want to see your magnificence.
Now, there's a point, or this is what I kind of need a little bit of help with, I think. There's a point where if you don't use your will, but then where you have to make that leap.
Say that again. Start again differently.
Well, I remember a story. There was a fellow that you helped at one of the seminars, and he stayed a couple extra days. I can't recall his name.
Yes.
And he needed to go back to work driving a truck, but that was really affecting him, the vibration and all that. So, but then you told him that you have to make a leap sometimes. I don't know. I can't recall exactly what you said to him. I mean, I remember it, but that. You have to make that step. Sometimes you have to make that step, and then you don't necessarily see where you're going to step.
I don't understand the question here.
Faith? Take a leap of faith?
Right,
No.
or just...
It's not clear to me.
Yeah, I'm not doing a very good job of...
Could you try again?
I
know there's something you're
Mine's
seeing.
going blank. In other words, I mean,
You're going to be careful. I'm very suggestible. My mind goes blank if you're not careful.
So, I mean, is there a difference where sometimes you have to push yourself a little bit?
No. If you have to push yourself, you're in trouble.
Right,
No,
and that's
you
how
have,
I lived my whole
you
life.
have to accept the truth. In other words, coming back to you, if you have, you talk about doubt. Next time the doubt comes on, because that's what I talked to my granddaughter last night, I said, doubt is upside down faith. Then I told her the story of the little girl. I said, you feel the pull. I say, so in your heart, you need to see this is the dark side. This is a dark side. Whatever it is, wherever it is, whether it's outside or inside, you don't care. You know it's a lie.
Yes, it didn't want me to come this morning.
It didn't want you to come this morning, right?
It tells me I'm ugly, I'm stupid,
Yes.
it's...
See that?
Um,
I had a guy.
Ultimately, it'll go to, well, okay, just kill yourself.
You know, do you want to say that? Yeah. It's not unusual.
Yeah, ultimately, it will just tell you to go kill
Eventually
yourself.
tell you to kill
Yeah,
yourself.
Yeah, that's... I
That's
could see-
post-traumatic stress. That's the end of the trail.
Right.
22 soldiers kill themselves every day. Every day. I could help stop that, but Obama doesn't really want me to help anybody. And as a matter of fact, in the VA, nothing's changed, and nobody cares. They still go about their own little fiddly little things, right? They have everybody got your own issues, and you got soldiers who are dying and there's a big hullabaloo about it, and nothing changes, but you know that you're so busy with your own misery and suffering, you can't possibly do any more than suffer and be lost in your own head and forget the soldiers that are dying for you. You see, it's all of us, it just got to be news, and it's gone. It's news, it's gone. It's news, it's gone. And the news is we're going to have a war. And the news is we're going to have a war with Russia. But it's not going to be a real war with Russia. It's going to be the fact that wink, wink, we have war, and I'll send the soldiers in the wrong places, and you put the wrong generals in power, and you can kill all you want. And we'll make sure that the sons of conservatives are in the front line. That's how we get rid of them. See, I read it. I've been saying that for a long time. That's the ability to see in the future.
Yes.
I'm up here 25 years ago and I have a boat. I like to be fishing. I need more people. In a big city, everybody will be coming. In this little city, I had to put up with Ku Klux Klan people, because this was a Ku Klux Klan city once upon a time. So a Jewish boy here beat the whole bloody lot. They all shut up now, right? I remember the sheriff coming to I bought a radio station to fight the media, local. And so it got worse. And the propaganda got worse. So they I don't remember where they threw firebombs into our church in the city. So I moved out city. But all kinds of things, the sheriff had to stop them. The sheriff, the county sheriff, another county sheriff, the one that has the other newspaper. What's the other one?
Oregonian?
What's Medford? Medford. Yeah, the sheriff of Medford County. What's the Medford County? You don't know?
Jackson County.
Jackson County. Yeah. So he came into all. He went to all the. He went to all of the TV stations and said, "This has got to stop." See, otherwise I would have been killed.
I didn't hear that.
No, you didn't know that.
No, I didn't.
Oh yeah. I started a network, and it grew into the biggest network in the
I
country.
remember that.
And then we got sabotaged, and now we're coming back.
Yeah, they did that with the magazine, the
Yeah,
advertising.
the magazine too.
Boycott.
We had 70,000 people with an average income of $70,000 in those days. A lot of money.
Yeah, it was.
And in Israel, they're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And just recently, we have just as a side discussion, I have a magazine, a newsletter, and in that newsletter, Paul, who works with me, Paul Owen, he worked for me 10 years, he sends England, which is the extension of our business here, and they've got some really interesting people. Just one dies and the other one takes the place of the dying one, but this one is talented. And guess what he did? He did research and published an article on sex, which I'm going to put up on the web. It was 1962 when I wrote that, but he has all of that stuff. He knows where to put his. So he sends all my articles for New Insights. We don't have the skills to continue it here. We had a very good artist, but no spirit in it. This one has a spirit. It's magnificent. So we're going to start it all over again, but use their facilities and their skills. See, but what happened was, they went to the House of Lords and the House of Commons, and they sent this article to that. It became instrumental, so that the law that forced kids to go to school to learn sex and HIV was rescinded. Wow. And with a great deal of objection that never worked. So we actually changed these people. I didn't know it because they sent me this newsletter and the footnote said that. Gave all the details. I should have brought it with me and read it to you. Yeah. So we are beginning to affect England, but I haven't got the people here that have the skills they have or the interests. Steve doesn't have it, but they do a good job, and all the people that work for me they don't have those skills. I was sitting out in a little country, a little city, safe for the family, and I built a school, and it's been quite successful. See, I sent all my grandchildren to school. But I'm still sort of helpless here. I may have to go to England because I'll be a star there. See,
it'd be a good place to visit.
Well, yes, but you know, I'm an American citizen. Mm-hmm. I wish I could do, but I don't get any help. The media is so powerful here, but they overcame the media there. Mm-hmm. See?
They did that with slavery. England was the first to abandon slavery, and America had to go through a civil war to stop it.
But do you realize if all the people who listen to me would send me support, which they don't, I would have so many stations that you couldn't avoid me. And I could use on Obama and make him back down. I already done it several times. I called him a communist and Marxist, and what he meant by fundamental transformation was down. And the stupid people couldn't see it. And there's lots of stupefied people, young people, broken by the schools that were invaded and infected, and the music and all the rest of it, and the colleges. And that's been going on for years and years and years and years. And then the stupefied people then elected the stupefier that says, I love you as you are. And we have a big, big problem with that. I know if I get enough money, if I can have, but there's a tendency not to talk about me, to be afraid to talk about me. But you don't really need to talk about me. You need to become what I am in my way, in your own way. Mm-hmm. See? Because each one of you needs to be a messenger. You need to be a Jesus-like person that you don't have to listen to Roy Masters, really. You have to have that same spirit. And then you are effective to your next door neighbor. Mm-hmm. You're damn right I'm going to be next door, whoever my next door neighbor is. They're going to have a fit, or they're going to be, you see. I've got a next door neighbor who is turned into a Catholic, so it's okay. She happens to be the teacher of the school now, but she used to listen to me a lot. Yeah. But the pressure of her husband, it is right there, and makes all kinds of excuses. And she's still a nice lady. I just talked to her yesterday, and kicked her little butt a little bit. And because you don't need it. See, you don't need religion. You don't want thousands of different religions. You don't want America to divide it in different religions. That's how we lose, because communism is a kind of pseudo-religion. See, it is a political thing. But we need to have, Christians need to be one Christianity, not thousands of different variations, listening with a pope and ministers and different views and ideas and each separated from each other. See, positive, negative, liberal, communist, conservative. No, we only need to be one nation under God. But we can't be one nation under God, because all the Christians that should be Christians and should not need a religion, because Christianity is not a religion. It transcends the need for being taught. See that? Know you not that you are the... Know you not... This all goes together with our subject matter. Know you not that you are the temple of the living God, and the Spirit dwells within. And then he says, I'll go away to his disciples, yes, thank you. Disciples, and said, I'll go away and will send the Holy Spirit, and then you will understand me. You don't understand me right now. Yeah. See that? Yeah. And now, that is how it should be. That's I am a disciple, in a sense. I'm telling you, you don't need to go to church. The lady next door going to church, going backwards. See?
You described church one time as a prison to keep people from doing stuff that they would go back to naturally if they didn't have.
But there's such a thing as in those days with Washington, where the preachers said we're all equal, whether you have money or not, and therefore they didn't divide the country. Basically, it was saying that you don't need to be rich. If you're rich or poor, you still have the same God. Yeah. So it's whatever it is, you deal with it. Yeah. And that's not what's happening today. Yeah. See? So if you're what's the one that I can't remember now. I'll try to remember. The person who didn't succeed in becoming a president against Romney. What was it? What was it? Mormon. Yeah. So if you're a Mormon, or if you're whatever, and there's 5 million of you, like in Germany, there's 5 billion that listened to their whoever it was, and didn't vote. And because they didn't vote, 80 million people died. And so you could have a whole bunch of Christians who listen to their leader. See, you don't need a leader. You've got to listen to your heart. Otherwise you lose your country. Because each leader, each rabbi, each this, we need to get rid of them. We don't need them. All you need is the word that you have what you need when you're born. We come back to my subject matter. We have it when we're born, and we're not born the same way as Adam. Adam was original, made from the mud, and then when everything went wrong, but it had to be that way. Because there's no way that he could choose God with the intelligence of the dark side, with Eve. It operated through Eve, and then he pulled him in, and he knew that would happen how many times, so therefore he made it different. Suffering through one man's sin. So when you come into the world, you're innocent. You're not guilty of anything. And you see, the gift is there the day you're born, and when you get to be 3 years old, 2 years old, even 1 year old, I've had it down to 6 months old. If you want the story of that, I'll tell you. That the 6-month-old boy saw his father leaving. His mother was no damn good. For these reasons, he cries for his father to save him from his mother. That's how it. So the child remembers his father leaving, going to Vietnam. Not that he was a great father, but it was better than his mother. Yeah. And he felt that. He sensed it. 6 months old, he knew it. I saw things, I heard things that before I could speak, something said to me, what's life all about? Now I can remember that when I couldn't speak. And I say to you, everybody who's ever thought of that word, that God has put that in your head to see if you like it. That's all. And if you like it, it's the spirit, whatever spirit you have, he doesn't do that. He just wants to see what you are. See? And and then he will encourage that. He won't make you, force you to make a decision. He puts the idea there.
Yeah.
And then it comes to you every now and then, especially when you're suffering. What's it all about?
I remember I was 4 years old and I asked the question, and I don't know why I didn't believe my mother, but I went to my friend's mother and asked the question, do people really die? And she said, oh, yes. And I said, I thought people just died in traffic accidents. You know, I watched a few TV shows and gunfights, from what I saw on TV.
Yeah.
And I thought everybody lived forever. And I asked my mother, and I said, well, where was I before I was born? She couldn't answer the question.
But
afterwards,
what I'm saying to you, nobody seems to understand that way. But you understand it.
Yeah.
You're born innocent.
Yeah.
Okay, the innocence is still there because you never broke the law. They broke you.
Yes.
And you could not help but be broken, could you? You had no choice. Well, that is suffering. That's a good suffering. Now you're going to suffer for a long time because you try to fix it, because you're being deceived. With whatever religion or custom, whatever nationality you are, you have the same intuition, and it can say the same words, what life is all about, in different languages. And it can understand everything I'm saying in different languages. We're born with it. Each one of you coming from a different religion, each one of you coming from a different part of the world, maybe. Mm-hmm. You can all hear me. When you speak English, I know that in Japanese. Household. See? See? So I can go anywhere in the world, find people understand those things. When I talk to them in English, they understand it. They've always understand it in their own language. Because God speaks to people and they understand that intuitively. Intuitively doesn't have a special language. It understands all languages. It translates into every language.
It's
and that's the reason why we can have a one world government under man if you can destroy enough people. If you can demoralize enough school children, and to multiply, demoralize infinitely,
yeah, indoctrination.
Exponentially.
Yeah.
So you have a whole country of Hitler, all broken. And that's what America's headed for. Civil war, and war, because we are appeasers. Mm-hmm. We are appeasers. The president is playing the appeaser role, knowing exactly what he's doing. You don't understand appeasing as well. You think of it as love. And he knows it isn't love. He knows exactly to be weak so that we can be attacked. So that he can have a war he's going to lose. How clear can you say that? And if I say it, will this spread? No. Will people talk to each other about it? No, because they don't know how. They haven't got the language. See? They haven't got the insights. They get offended. The liberal will become offended and call you crazy. See? I don't care. I'm not crazy. It doesn't matter. If this person can have enough support.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
Please, excuse me. I want him to leave me alone. I don't want him to follow me.
What's the matter with you? He's not hurting you right now. Do you have something to say? You want to say something? Give her a mic. Yes.
Kitty?
There you go.
Why are you walking out? Can I help you? Why don't you sit down?
It's just between me and her.
I see she has a real problem, and you are beginning to look for solutions. And the more you are, the better you are, the more frightened she is.
Yeah.
You
She
haven't-
was just falling asleep, and when she started to snore, I'd
Well-
wake her up. And apparently after the last time, she'd had enough of that. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Your shape is clear that you have not been like you should have been, but you're becoming. I like
Yes.
that.
Yes.
That's good. But she has suffered from you not being as you should. I said, this has brought you here, and this is a good thing. So now you have to deal with that, see? And that's not going to be easy. So how old are you?
I know.
How old are you?
Oh, how old am I? I'm 68.
Well, you got another 20 years to fix her.
Yeah.
I've been 63 years fixing my wife. It takes a while. They don't want to wake up. They think. See, the people who are asleep don't know they're asleep in a hypnotic state. See, and they become very, very vulnerable to all kinds of people who can break in and add misery to suggestions to do this and to do that and not to do this and not to do that. And it's all unconscious. Just like I said in the opening of my program, I said, my grandson said, I did the right thing by suggesting she shouldn't go to Disneyland. That was good. But mother said, no, you should tell her not to. I said, no, that's not you. It's not you. You're just a girl. It's a friend. She's not your fiancée, and she's not married to you. You have no right to talk to her that way. But because she's suggestible, and she has a broken home, she's looking to sees you as a nice guy that she should listen to and trust, and that's not good. See. So in other words, it becomes hypnotic. You do not know what hypnosis is. It's everywhere, in everybody. And people are suggestible. And doubt is the nature of that suggestibility. See that? And the darkness in other people understand that. And you track them to that. They run away from me as they run. They fall over themselves to get away. They fall down, break their neck, getting away, in a manner of speaking. They will die in that process unless they, but it is also because of they react to me and I don't react to them. There's a little piece of goodness in them. They don't even know. They may come to it sooner or later. And I don't care what. So they either get sick and die, or they get better. It works for me both ways. Thank you.
Can you just tap, when that just happened just now, I saw her get mad at her husband and she tapped her cane because she couldn't speak up.
She's full of hate.
I know that, but when that arose in her, something woke up in me that
Yes.
was attached to her.
Yes.
Now I see that.
Yes.
So is that all I have to do? Like, do I just have to see that that's
All
still
you have to
there
see
and not be afraid?
It's all you have to see is that in that you have it.
Yes.
And you need to see that. I don't look where it comes from.
Okay.
If it needs to come, it will.
Okay.
Don't look for it.
Okay.
You see it? Oh, I see that. That's me. Bingo, it's gone.
And God is just there. Okay.
Just see it. Thank you. I never would have seen that. There's a person. I have never seen that. I never knew I had it. I see a reaction, and that reaction opens me to suggestion.
Yes.
And so, oops, it's gone. Now you're
So then you
strong.
have a choice in that moment to either go with, oh my God, what is this?
You have the choice
or
to,
just
you
be
have
calm
the choice
with-
to be sympathetic to her.
Yes.
Bad.
Okay.
Or hate her for the awakening because you don't know how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
But the other choice is nothing. I
Just
see that. Thank you.
okay.
I see it.
Okay.
Thank you. Gone.
I just don't want to be afraid of it.
No, I did, but I gave you the answer. You don't.
Okay, all right. You don't have to say
You don't have to be afraid of anything, because to be afraid of it is to give it power. Just watch it. The light has given you that moment. Look at that thing. The fact, if she wasn't here, this is I don't know what they call it. It's something that is magical. It was meant that she did this for you, even if she drops dead. Who cares? She's going to drop dead if she doesn't stop that. He's going to do the best he can to awaken her, even though he was part of the problem. He is waking up, and she's full of hate. She needs to listen to what I'm saying. He's not a bad guy. He's made mistakes with you. He sees it. Am I correct?
Oh, for sure.
I can see it. I can see you're welcoming him. Everything I said, you've welcomed and you see it. She hasn't. She hates your guts.
Right now, that's for sure.
Okay. Now, she's here and she can hear. And you're here and you can hear. So if she doesn't get it and drops dead, you've lost what you should have had, what you shouldn't have had, and you're free. Get it? See, I say this to my wife. You hear it or you'll die. If you reject it and fight me, knowing that I'm telling you the truth, thinking that you've got to see that for yourself, you do. But it's the ego thing speaking. See how that? Ego speaks like that's ego speak. I know the difference. So I said, if you listen, I spent 63 years with you, trying to share with you, always trying to wake you up, but you seem to enjoy your sleep. You do not realize you're asleep. You got this love-hate relationship. You got me at a pedestal, all that kind of stuff. It's taken a long time for her to suffer. Now she's getting better. She's actually seeing what the problem is, and she's getting better.
Can I say something?
Yes.
You started out the talk a little bit this morning with saying something tiny little thing was said.
Yes.
And I think that so many people like this gentleman here don't realize that the man-woman relationship, the father-son, father-daughter, mother-son, any relationship, is so dependent on being conscious and clear thinking and clear seeing, because the little things, was it you that said there's a saying about it's the little things that make a big difference? It was in the Bible, you said.
It's the little things that confound the Almighty.
The little things that confound
the little things
the
I know confound the big people.
When I heard that, I grabbed that out of the air like a balloon. I grabbed the string and I pulled it.
It's a scripture, you know.
I like that. The reason is because I find in my life that it is the little things, and a lot of times they just go, but it is the little things that that turn into this situation that's going on here.
That's right.
He has probably allowed her to, and I don't know, so this is just pure.
That's my son.
My thought. Because I don't let my wife get away with anything. If she says something to me that I think, now that wasn't right, because I said, I put on cologne in the morning after I shower. I said, and if you talk down to me or talk to me in a wrong way and the kids hear it, it comes off of you the same way you smell the scent of my cologne. And they, my children, smell your contempt for me, like you smell my cologne right now. And I said, so you either talk to me in a proper way and in private, but if it's in front of the children or you're even on the phone with me and you're saying things to me that are inappropriate, inappropriate meaning talking in the wrong tone, because this whole thing is about tonality, I think, this whole talk today. And I've had to learn, I think we've learned together in our lives together. I'm 55, and I've gone through his tones, and he's learned, and I've learned, and we've learned together, and you guys have all learned with us. And we're refining it down to tones. I mean, now it's not...
And the words themselves.
The words we've been talking about for all my life, and now all of a sudden it's being refined down to, all right, we've talked about the words for a number of years. Let's talk about now how the tone, how you talk, and how you communicate. And I'm telling you, that is a refinement that is truly an art, and it's a higher learning a higher nature if you can watch the tone and how you correct somebody or how somebody talks to you.
I can read it. I can read
I had
that.
a lady, a very interesting thing happened to me yesterday. One of my clients, and I have the biggest clients in the world, and the wife of the owner of the client yelled at me. And she yelled at me on the phone in front of all her employees, and I thought, wow, something is going on here. And I listened to this yelling, and I realized, I thought, first of all, I'm not guilty of what she's yelling at me for. So I thought, I can either put her in her place, which I wanted to, but I thought, you're better off quiet and thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. I don't know what was going on, so I thought I would let it play itself out. But I realized I could feel myself wanting to react, but I'm old enough now and wise enough now to not react. But I could feel the bass coming out of her, the microphone pounding on my body to react. And I thought to myself, no, I'm not going to react. What it was that she was having a personal argument with another client that they had, and I spoke to that other client on my radio show, and she got madder than hell at me instead of getting madder than hell at her own employees. Now, that's the rest of the story, but I felt what he talked about yesterday because she was demanding and trying to demand and command something of me. And I thought to myself, well, first of all, I'm my own man. I have my own company. You won't demand or command me anything. And the tone that she was using was amazing. It was ferocious. And I thought to myself, how dare her? But
It's an energy field.
It was an energy field. I could feel it. Like, you know, when you stand next to a speaker and the bass is coming out, you can feel it pounding on you. And I thought to myself, wow, when he said in the talk today how it's hypnotic, I could see if I didn't have Roy Masters as a father, that I would have just been blown away and I would have gone into a robotic state of, oh my God, what did I do?
Yeah,
and I would have actually felt guilty for something I wasn't even guilty of. So they put in a new protocol for me, and they apologized. All the employees apologized. Wow, that was very uncomfortable. And I said, did I handle myself okay? And they, oh, you were great. Because everybody in the room was going into that mode, like Brenda was going, oh, because you identify with it. But it's the little thing. So in my life,
He helped a whole group of people.
yeah, actually, that's exactly right. Because I didn't flip out, and because I said, look, we're on the same team here. Let's not argue with each other. Let's come up with a solution. I then took control over the phone, and they're all in the room, and they said, man, we were so glad you stayed in control. But in life, back to this, in life, the tone and the little things that you've allowed your wife to get away with all these years talking down to you, or maybe you talking down to her. This has gone on and on and on and on, and you guys seek, obviously you're both a little overweight, quite a bit overweight, but you seek comfort in other things instead of saying, hey, wait a minute, you know what, we're not dealing with each other right. This is all going down the wrong path. We can either cover it up with comfort foods, which is certain death because of what's going to happen at some point, diabetes and all the other diseases that go along with covering it up, because you have this uncomfortable life together. The only way you can come together is the fruit of, comfort foods. So now what you need to do is you both need to have a good talk with each other and reboot your relationship, and not let those little things.
But one might not listen to the other.
That's true. But you can't help what the other one does. You
and
can
you
only do
should
what's
not
right.
get frustrated.
I can't listen for her, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right. So,
It'd be
and
nice to know what to say.
I'll just make quick points. And I said it. You say what you need to say. She either gets it or she doesn't. If she gets it, she starts to get better, and she comes closer to you, where you're coming from, and you live happily ever after. Or she drops dead, and either way, it works for you.
All right.
I'm sorry. You're not worrying about outcome. Drop dead or be friends. It works. And be my wife. It works for me both ways. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Excuse me exaggerating. You think I'm callous? No. It's the way it should be. Who was it was it Judas? He committed suicide. Do you think Jesus cared a whit? No.
Can I just say something very interesting that I saw as you were-
Thank you, Ellen. That was very good.
as everyone was talking, when your wife,
Kitty.
when Kitty had her little episode, what I'm realizing happened to me is I wanted to feel a little bit sorry. When she started to cry, there was a little bit of something inside of me that wanted to feel sorry for her because I wasn't quite sure of the situation.
Don't be sorry.
Well, I know that, but that's what I'm saying. So that thing tried to get me to become in an allegiance with that force.
Exactly.
And then how wonderful God is, because I had to feel it, and maybe perhaps it's dying and it's not really growing.
Yes.
It's not something I have to be afraid of. It's actually just dying because there was something sweet that switched
And
it.
so what you're talking about is what he's going through. See? And you need to do the same thing as she did. You can say no to doubt, right?
Right. Yes.
You can say, who the hell do you think you are? You can actually talk to yourself. You
I
can
don't
actually
talk to it, I just
yourself that
don't
way.
listen to it.
Huh? No, you can listen to it and not be bothered by it. You're not me. Get out of here.
Right.
Attitude.
Should I talk
I'm
to
going
it?
to do exactly what I want. Shut up.
Should I tell it to?
No, it's just like impulse, natural impulse. I see who you are. But you need to be grateful to the light because you can see it.
Right.
Otherwise, you would have pulled into it as if it was natural.
Right.
There's a tendency to see the wrong thing as a natural thing to do.
Right.
See it? But the reason why you can see it is unnatural because you have doubt. And you know that something's wrong with doubt.
Right.
Doubt is upside down.
Doubt the doubt.
Upside down faith. Upside down. Downside up.
I
Right.
don't think you doubt the doubt, though. You have to just see the doubt, because you can't doubt, you can't make a wrong fix a wrong. It's okay, I'm done.
Okay.
I have a question, where I'm at now. What I've done in the past, and I don't even know if it was the right thing to do at all, is I've found that most anything I could say or do at a time like that was rejected and caused things to get worse,
Well,
turmoil. So I just walk away,
But then you
leave it
got
alone.
No, but then you got frustrated and ate yourself.
Pardon?
Then you got frustrated, and your frustrated shows in your weight. It shows you in your, yes, it does.
Perhaps it did, but
Absolutely.
I didn't see that.
But
Yeah.
it is connected.
Could
Because
be.
there's an emptiness.
Yeah.
Because frustration with
Yeah.
that. There's a certain frustration with that. And there should no be frustration. She doesn't get it. She doesn't get it. Drop dead. I don't mean to.
Generally,
I
in
don't
the
mean to be
past,
rude.
she's
I
come
just
around
got
and
to.
come back to me.
No, I got to say that to you. You mustn't think of me as cruel. See, because it is how it is with truth. Truth is truth, and people who hate the truth may hate it without realizing. And they can get better if you leave them alone and don't get upset because they don't get it. And so you can keep trying because she's your wife.
Yes.
You live with her. If you didn't live with her, it's too bad. It's okay. But since you're living with her and you're bonded to her, then till death do us part. Now,
Yes.
that doesn't stop you from being a man. Learn how to be a man. Learn the right things to say. She doesn't have to listen. You don't want to force her to listen. You see, there are times when you can. When she's in hysteria, you have to hold her tightly and not let her do stupid things. But it's also got to be done with gentility, firm, no anger. And she can feel in your hands, there's no anger, there's something that's got to stop you because you'll jump out of the window. Or you'll walk out of the house and you'll be sorry. There is those times. See, that's not violence. That's saving her life. Got that?
Yes.
And she can feel when you hold her that way. One is anger, you can feel the anger rippling through the hands. And the other can feel strength. She needs to say, stop her, because nobody else can. That's why the reason my wife is 83 years old. That is the reason, because I hold my ground no matter what. And she's grateful for that, see. But she still didn't get it, because her background keeps coming forward, and I look like the dad. And there's always a projection on the dad without her realizing it, she's doing it. See that? Okay, so we are running out of time. As a matter of fact, I'm enjoying our conversations together today. I do hope the young lady here, your wife, did you hear what I was saying? Yes. Just let her speak, and then we're finished. Anything you would like to say, but other than cry? Just speak. Did you understand what I was saying to your husband?
I'm sorry.
Huh?
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're forgiven. It's not a big deal.
I have a little cold in my nose.
I've been blowing my nose all the way through, but the camera didn't catch it.
And he kept pushing me.
Pardon?
He kept pushing me because
What's
he
she-
thought
what's
I
she
was
saying? What's she saying?
embarrassing
He kept
you.
pushing
And
her.
Huh?
He kept pushing her.
Yeah, but
Wake her up.
but my wife sometimes thinks the
She was
same
snoring.
thing. Are you pushing her willfully?
I
No,
can't help it. I'm sorry.
Well, you've come.
I think
you-
she
you-
doesn't realize that, I was waking her up because she was starting to snore
While she was
each
sleeping,
time.
she was sitting here in this chair starting to snore, and he was pumping her, saying, "Wake up."
Oh, I see.
And I have trouble sleeping. And I'm sorry if I came here
Oh, don't
to
worry, don't worry.
embarrass any of
Listen,
you.
let me say this. I don't need you to say anymore if you don't mind. But she seems to be open. There is an opening here. I sense it. So, how long you been married?
How long have we been married, Ann?
44 years.
44
Okay,
years.
I beat you. 63 years. It's all hell.
Well, I'll never catch up.
It's all hell.
Be your son, just so you know, Dad.
But the point is, but you understand, what your job is to love the hell out of your wife, not embrace the hell in her by looking for approval. And so when you speak, and you speak truthfully, and she gets angry with you, it's because the dark side doesn't like to hear it. And you need to understand, she is possessed by a dark side, and you don't want to be possessed by it by getting upset with her.
Absolutely.
Just keep reminding her. And
I wanted to
remind-
say something,
What's
though.
that?
When she said, "Hon, Kitty,
Yeah,
you said you're sorry," I wanted to say, I still love you.
thank you. And I would like to say
Hold it.
that, thank you. I'm not used to speaking to people, and I hope
That's all right.
that you'll forgive me and not think of me as a troublemaker.
Well, basically, you don't realize you are a troublemaker. And he is responsible for seeing that you're not, and waking you up to that state where you are gracious and not a troublemaker. The women tend to be difficult. They bring Eve with them. And some men don't know how to deal with Eve because they're born of Eve. See, so they tend to want to go to Eve as if for approval and not to the Creator. And so Marriage makes the point. You marry, and all of a sudden you wake up losing a war you didn't know you were fighting.
Been there.
And so now you're stuck with, but you have to learn the strength and see your weakness in giving in. See your weakness in getting angry. You have to find the middle ground. There is no feelings of anger or fear. See? Or what's going to happen about
Once
outcome.
you enlist, eventually you still have to go to war once in a while.
You have to go to a war, but it's not the kind of war that war is. Because the kind of war is caused by being an appeaser or a bully. And so the other person is the appeaser and emboldens you to go to war. That's it. And so I'd like to say goodbye to my audience for this week, and hope you support my work. I know how to turn this country around. Please support my work soon. I think you'll please call my office and just write a check to Post Office Box 1000, Grants Pass, Oregon 97528. You know where to find me on the internet because you're watching this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you.